Hi, my name is Dan. That's my dog horking up a loogie in the background. This is Engelgeist. Thank you for tuning in to my channel. For those of you that are new, welcome to the channel. Please hit the subscribe button and the bell if you want to be notified when I go live. Um, uh, if you're watching me from my Facebook business page, please hit the follow button and like my business page so you can follow and be notified when I go live from there. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you. I am trying to grow the audience, so please feel free to share, comment, like, subscribe, do all those sort of things that help to support the channel. I appreciate all of it. You can follow me at on Instagram at Engelgeist333. I appreciate the follows there. I'm not a huge poster over there. I post maybe once or twice a week, but it's a good way to stay in contact with me. And this video that you're watching right now is the 2020 yearly predictive for the sign of Cancer. So if you have a sun, moon, or rising in the sign of Cancer, you might want to watch this. It's just going to give you some insight into what might happen for you in 2020. I do caveat this, all the videos, I do say this sort of little spiel ahead of time. And the deck that I'm working with is a mini deck called the Harmonious Tarot. It allows me to get all 12 cards up onto the screen and in the camera for you guys to see. I also like the fact that it's named the Harmonious Tarot. It sort of sets the intention that hopefully there will be some harmony going into 2020. I feel like 2019 was a harder year for some, and so 2020 to me feels like it's about balance. It's an angel number. There is some sort of, it's also an even number. So to me, it just feels like, I don't know, like I think that there's going to be some harmony for this year, and I'm hoping that's the case, hence why I'm using this Harmonious Tarot. The other thing I want to say is that I believe with predictive readings, especially when they're year-long predictives, as we get further out into the cards, those things are more malleable and optioned for change. So please take with you what works for you and leave the rest as far as this reading is concerned. If stuff makes sense to you, or if it is an outcome that you want to see sort of happen, stay focused on those goals, return and rewatch this video. Do whatever you need to do to sort of, stay focused in having these outcomes come to pass. But if it's something that you don't necessarily agree with or feel like it fits you or your situation, that's completely fine. This is a broad spectrum reading for a lot of different viewers, so it may not all apply to you. But this is for those in the sign of Cancer or those with heavily placed, planets in the sign of Cancer. So let's see what we've got. Okay, kicking off with your first card, which would represent for the month of January. Wow, we have the Sun. So this is a really nice card to start off the year. I feel like this is all about feeling energized, renewal. When I'm looking at this, there's a joy, there's a celebration that's happening here. If you look in this card, these people are sort of dancing around the sun, and the sun is emanating energy and light and that sort of life-giving force. So it feels to me like my Cancerians are going to be very I don't know, like imbued with the sort of excitement of the new year and really caught up in the emotionality of that, caught up in the opportunity that's there. And this Sun says that you guys really will be doing some positive sort of manifestations, some affirmations, some just the creation of something very positive in the very beginning months of the year. This being a major arcana card says to me also that this will be a significant month, like what we choose to focus on and what we choose to give energy to, give our attention to, what we choose to shed light upon is going to be sort of setting the tone for the entire year. That's at least what I'm hearing with this card. So be mindful of that. If we're stuck in a slump or we're not feeling the joy of the sun, we need to find it in the month of January. Definitely find it, seek it out. It is there for you. So if you're in an emotional slump right now, in the last few weeks of December of 2019, now would be the time to start to sort of shift that energy and start to find the positive aspects, because going into January there is this opportunity with this Sun card here to shed light on your situation and to see it either through new eyes or to create something that is much more beneficial, much more exciting, and to be celebrated. Okay, so I feel like this is my cancers are going to kick off the year of 2020 in a very big way. There's also, with this aspect of this card, to me this feels like you guys also are going to be giving or outputting quite a bit too. The sun is sort of like this represents this ball of energy, or this light that kind of gives life to everything. And I kind of see also that you guys, some of you cancers, could be this ball or this sun in a way. So as you're feeling more positive, you're attracting that positivity. You're also like sort of feeding that and growing that in your world, in your environment, in your day to day, in whatever way that looks for you. So keep that in mind as you're in the first month of this year. Keep that in mind, that wherever you place your focus and what your focus feels like, make sure that it feels bright and excited and joyful. Because as you start the year off like that, I think there's a power in that that's intense, like the sun. There's a strength in that that's intense, like the sun. There is like, I feel like you're setting the stage here with this card in the first month. So the fact that the sun shows up here says January is pivotal for you guys. Pay attention to what's going on in January, what you're looking at, what you're focusing on, and what you're energizing. Now, the next card we have for February. Again, this is a very positive card. This is the Ten of Cups. Cups deals with the element of water, the emotions. This is about completions. This is about feeling good, feeling overflowing or abundant. When I look at this card, this feels like they're still sort of celebrating, but maybe some of that energy of the sun is dying down. But there's this emotional completeness, or this emotional sort of, how do I want to put it? Like, is it balance? Like, it's like emotional stability, balance, abundance that is happening in the month of February, and it's probably coming in off of this energized January. If we've chosen to focus on the right things and keep our focus positive, we get to sort of settle in and go through February with this place, from this position of feeling very content, very abundant, loved. I mean, I look at this family here, they're all sort of like together. There's still sort of this, similar to this celebration that's happening here. They're still sort of celebrating, but I also feel like they're waving farewell to some of this energy that we found in the beginning of the year. So really take advantage of your January. And as you do take advantage of it, the more advantage you take of it, out of it, is what I'm hearing, the more like sort of cups we have, the more sort of completion we feel, the more emotional contentment we feel, and the more ease we get to have in February. All right, and so, I definitely feel like these guys are sort of waving goodbye to this sun energy as we enter into the rest of the year. So the next card is your March, and this is the Hermit. Okay, so atypical Cancer stuff, and I love my Cancers, don't get me wrong, but you guys are a moody bunch of bitches. Like, I love you all, but you all can be moody, and I can be just as moody. I'm a Pisces, so I get it, we're water signs. I don't judge at all. But this definitely, going from the sun into the Ten of Cups and then back to the Hermit, to me is like full-on mood swing that's happening. That's happening from January through till March. It's positive for the most part in January and positive in the most part in February. But we do say goodbye to it and then we retreat. Now, March, to me, this is not a bad card. The Hermit is a very beautiful card. This is us going inward, connecting to our own internal light, connecting to our own intuition, really like sort of almost taking time out in the month of March to sort of reconnect with ourselves, probably from the excitement of the beginning of the year and all of this sort of I don't want to say emotional overload, because there is an abundance of emotions and this feels like a very positive February, but it does feel like there might be a little bit of a come down come March. And the come down to me feels like as we settle into that, we need to give ourselves time to rest. That's what this Hermit card feels like to me. This is about going inward, reflection, intuition, taking that time to like sort of have that conversation with yourself that may be around whatever it is that you want to do next. To me, there's a completion here happening in February that feels emotionally like fulfilling. So now it's like I feel like this energy in March is about, okay, so checking in with yourself and going, okay, what's the next chapter? What do we want to start now? Where do we want to go? How do we want to head? And how are we going to go about doing that? And there's a clarification I have to say in this Hermit card in the month of March that we're going to want to have. So if we find ourselves withdrawing, which Cancers do sometimes want to do, water signs, we do like our alone time. When we find ourselves withdrawing in the month of March, don't be afraid of it. Don't worry about it. I think that there is definitely significant, this being a major arcana card also, there is significant work that's happening in the month of March, even though it feels like we're by ourselves or maybe not doing too much in the outside environment. Like, how do I want to say this? We're doing the work internally versus externally in the month of March. Allow for that to happen. Both this card here, the Sun and the Ten of Cups, are definite external cards, right? This is definitely our environment, and we're also feeding out into our environment and projecting the energy of the Sun card, and we're feeling that sort of emotional completion, abundance, that sort of stuff in February. We're going to step away from that in March, but that's okay. And with the Hermit, there always comes that sort of gift of introspection and knowledge of finding one's own inner light and finding one's own connection to their intuition. And you guys, again, being water signs, you guys have strong, strong intuitive abilities. So you want to take that time in March. It will be pivotal again. It feels like, I've got to say, these first 3 months are going to be kind of huge for you guys. Now, the next card for April is the Two of Pentacles, or coins. Now, I like this card. This card has shown up, this is the fourth sign, so this is the fourth year-long reading, but this card has shown up in 3 of the readings thus far. In Aries, Taurus, and now in Cancer. It did not show up for the Geminis. The Geminis are having a bang-up year, so if you also have any placements in Gemini, I would watch Gemini's video. But for this, what this is saying to me now, seeing this card again for the 3rd time, is this year might be about not emotional balance. This is about financial balancing and really figuring out where we want to be. So I'm going to go back through these months. We have this big thrust into the new year of excitement, re-energize, yay, 2020's here, let's see what it has to bring, all sorts of positivity, feeling that at an emotional level in February, going inward and sort of doing a little bit of soul searching and figuring out where it is we want to be and how we want to get there. And this is about the sort of the balancing of the financial matters, the material world, the relationships in our life where we bring that into balance so that we can move forward. There is a joy to this card because this young girl is dancing, that I feel like I also saw this in the other readings. This is about getting our relationship to our financial situation in a better groove, in a better just symmetry, our relationship to our material environment around us in balance, bringing ourselves closer to what it is we want and how it is we want to have it. And I think that stems from taking this time in March with this Hermit card to really get clear on those things at a deeper and more intuitive level. That enables us in the month of April to sort of start to manifest that and bring that forward in a very balanced, measured, steady, joyful way. Okay? Now the next card is for May. This is the Six of Wands. So this Six of Wands, instantly, this showed up in another reading also, but this to me is feeling completely different as I'm looking at it. This feels like to me some of you might travel in the month of May. I'm not exactly sure if this is, part of me wants to think that this is vacation because it is a Wands card, which makes me think that this is about spiritual fulfillment. I'm not so sure that some of you might not be pursuing spiritual pursuits in the month of May, or traveling in, I'm seeing yoga retreats or meditation retreats. There might be, some of my Cancer viewers might be uh, deciding to just take a vacation and allow yourself that time to decompress. But this feels like beneficial in the sense that it's putting it out there that you're like sort of the care of the spirit and the nurturing of that by, how do I want to say this, by like sort of pursuing that at a physical level through the idea of travel or vacation would be beneficial for you in the month of May. And the reason why I say this and why I think this also corresponds to the other cards is we take this pause and respite here, we sort of settle up our finances and become in balance. We then are able to sort of see that maybe we are allowed to sort of take this time for ourselves and nurture ourselves on this spiritual path, learning level, even if that's as simple as going to, like, say, a warm climate and laying on the beach and replenishing ourselves in that way. I feel like this to me feels like a vacation of some sort, or a opportunity for travel, an opportunity for a move or a change that is going to be beneficial. Okay, I know that's a big sort of statement in the sense that it could mean multiple things. It could mean, okay, changing jobs, it could mean changing boyfriends, but there are, like, this reading is intended for multiple viewers. So only you will know in May what that situation is for you. But if you find yourself in May with an opportunity to make a change of some sort, um, do it. If it feels right and it spiritually feels in line with what it is that you want, and you should be clear on that if if you have taken this time back in March to sort of really look at things as they are and get solid in what you believe and not what others think you need and not what others think you should have, you'll know what that is in May. And if it is something as simple as taking a vacation, gift yourself with that, because it's going to have spiritual. Um, this being a wands card says to me, it's going to have spiritual implications or impacts that are going to be beneficial for you in the long run throughout the rest of the year. Now, so here's June, which is the 6th month. So we have the Six of Pentacles. So I'm gonna say this. It feels it feels like we take this vacation and then we come back and we start earning money. We start focusing on money. We start, maybe there might be some of you that are nervous about money, fearing that maybe you've spent too much money. But this is about the further amassing of finance or security, right? We see that here in this Two of Pentacles. We see the building of that here in the Six of Pentacles by June. We may come back from this trip, or if this is not a trip, or say it's a vacation where it's an expenditure, maybe it is maybe it is a new job that we've decided to take, or it's a new relationship we've decided to take on. We then sort of shift our focus to a place of, okay, so how do I fund this new job? Is this new job, making me enough money? How do I, maintain this relationship or this new home? Whatever it is, the focus here in June is going to be about money. It's extravagant. It's where it's best needed, where it's most needed. How we're spending it. This could be a good month to take an inventory and look back at how our first 6 months have gone, and financially where we're placing our attention. There's definitely the opportunity for the creation of more money in this month. I also like that this is the 6th month and we have a 6 card here. That feels very much in line. So financially, we could have the opportunity to sort of generate some really good money in the month of June. So keep that in mind but also I feel like this card is saying to me that some of you are going to have to really look at your resources and determine where it's most needed versus where it's not, and start to kind of get clarity around that. And that's going to be okay. You'll need that. So your next card for July is the King of Pentacles. And this is great, because this to me speaks to the cleaning up of whatever's going on here in this Six of Pentacles. This is why we're focusing so much on money in the month of June. It may feel a little bit uncomfortable, but once you guys figure it out and sort of get clarity around that, you will end up in this energy of the King of Pentacles. And this says to me that you guys will have mastery over your money situation at a certain point, come hopefully by July. where you start to figure out through doing the inventory and figuring those things out. And I think that this is also part of this energy of the sun and part of this energy of not only the hermit but also this Six of Wands, is taking that time out. And maybe we've made these choices that feel right, and then we start to second guess them in June. But as we get to July, things even out and we become more in control and more aware of our gifts and where we did right. And we start to see that the fruits of our labor are coming in. The King of Pentacles is always sort of in charge, and how do I want to say this? It's like you've mastered your financial situation on some level. You feel like you've got this on lock. Is how I feel like this card. What this card is expressing to me. He's looking back maybe at the last month, sort of. Uh, uh, what's the word? Like the he's looking back at last month's confusion around money or finances, and seeing it in retrospect and understanding how much clearer we are in what we need to do at this time. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense to you. This is all about sort of the balancing of finances and material gain, and I think that you will have that come July. It's just a matter of being patient with yourself through the month of June and being very almost methodical about it. And that's what this is, the methodical nature that is going to come into play, that's going to benefit you in the long run. So the next card is August. Beautiful. So we have the Ace of Cups. I love that this is your August card, because after you become like sort of get things financially under wraps, or into a place where they feel comfortable and you feel like you're in control of things, things feel steady. We have this bull here, which gives me the feeling of steadiness. We go into this place of the Ace of Cups, which to me is emotional. It's a real like sort of it's the element of water, which is our element, right? We're water signs. But it's also, there's this peace here that I see in this dove. But to me, it feels like going from this steadiness around our finances, or maybe say our outside relationships, maybe our job, whatever it is in our material world that we've sort of steadied out and learned how to sort of rule over successfully. It brings about this kind of emotional abundance, emotional fulfillment, emotional peace that we are able to sort of walk into the rest of the year with. And we're also able to sort of expose, I feel like there's an exposure of our more truer selves in this month. And part of why I say that is we come from this sort of masculine card of the King of Cups, or I'm sorry, the King of Pentacles, moving into this more feminine, angelic card of the this Ace of Cups. And to me, I feel like she's sort of bearing herself and her vulnerabilities at an emotional level a little bit more, but because she's doing that because she feels more at peace, and she's more able to sort of explore those things. And some of this this exposure, or this like letting our own true light shine in this month, is because of this work we did back here in the Hermit, is what I'm hearing. Okay, so in the March period, it's like it's all setting us up to start to build and build and build till we get to this point. We feel things are steady, and everything in our material world is feeling on the money and right. And then we're able to open up emotionally, and we allow people to see ourselves in a more I don't want to say vulnerable, because vulnerable like gives me this idea of like that you guys are at risk. There's no risk here. There's like a beauty and a peace that's in this card that I feel like is really key and lovely. And so it's something to look forward to, but I feel like it's a deepening of letting people see who you truly are, that at a more emotional level, without sort of any need to hide or be fearful. To me, it's a very peaceful card, and it's a very beautiful card. But there is like sort of a vulnerability to it, but with that vulnerability comes strength, right? When we don't have the need for the walls, and we allow ourselves to be who we truly are without any sort of judgments or hang-ups. And I think that that's going to happen for you guys during the month of August. Now, the month of September is the Five of Swords. So we go through this period. Again, this feels like another mood swing to me. This Five of Swords to me feels a little bit like we might feel a little bit judged in the month of September. We might feel a little bit ridiculed, or maybe this vulnerability that we've experienced in this Ace of Cups is misunderstood, or people tell us, oh, you're not allowed to do that, that sort of a thing. It creates a little bit of confusion for us, maybe in the month of September. But that confusion is going to actually be a gift in the long run, is my feeling, because it's going to make us have to make a decision to move on. And from that decision, we're going to have, from that confusion, we're going to have to find that clarity within ourselves and our own intellect to sort of move forward in a way that serves us. We may have to find ourselves having to leave things behind, but I think that part of the reason why we need to leave things behind is because they no longer fit with this person that is here in this Ace of Cups, right? They no longer can honor that. They no longer can sort of appreciate this, or do you understand what I'm saying? Like, when we have people in our lives or situations in our lives that can't allow us to be in this state of peace and vulnerability, we have to remove ourselves for our own protection or for our own growth and betterment. So some of you may be experiencing that in the month of September. The awareness and the confusion around, well, I love this person or I love this job, but it's really not serving me. It's really, I don't feel that good anymore in this situation. I'm not being honored in the way that I know that I deserve to be, because we have these two powerful cards right here which show you trying to honor yourself during these months and really owning that. Well, in the following month, you may have to sort of go back and forth in your thoughts a bit to decide, okay, what do I need to let go of? What do I need to move away from? What is no longer serving me? That, that is outside of me, that I'm no longer in line with. Now, some of those situations may just fall away, right? Because you're no longer in line. But this is about a growth that's happening for you. This is about a sea change that's taking place, especially in these 2 months here. It begins back, like I said, it begins really in January, like with this sun energy. But we don't necessarily know that until we're doing the work in March. But once this Hermit card comes about, we're starting to focus on the betterment of ourselves. And by, July, August, we're really feeling that awareness and really owning that from a place of power. There's going to be some situations, people, or old things that aren't going to accept that, are not going to be in line with that. We will have to make the clarity and the decisions to cut those situations free and move away from them, or they will automatically be moved away from us. The next card, speaking of moving away, is the Chariot. Okay, so we are moving on to bigger and better things come October. And we're moving with a swiftness. There's once we've made this decision in the month of September, October is all about swift movement, direct. Again, another pivotal month. We have major arcana energy. We have a fair amount of major arcana happening. You have the Sun, you have the Hermit, and then you have the Chariot. It's nice that they're sort of spaced a little bit. So we're going to have some upper, more intense months, I'm going to say, like January, March, and then October. But these months here, this is July and August, these are pretty big power players too, this King of Pentacles and this Ace of Cups. I'm going to say that these 2 months are about yourself, and all of these months are about yourself, right? But these 2 months are about sort of establishing yourself and creating the things that you want, where these are more about sort of the universe meeting you and sort of creating those changes, or offering those changes to you. Are you willing to take them? Are you willing to go after them? And if you do, the energies will be intense and they will be good and beneficial. None of these cards are bad per se. It just says to me that you are going to need to gear up and get ready for the ride, especially with this Chariot card. There's this castle on the hill here makes me think that there's new beginnings, and the decisions that are made here in this Five of Swords says to me that once we make those decisions and we get that clarity that we need, and we continue to honor ourselves from this place of this King of Pentacles and this Ace of Cups, and hold that honor for ourselves, regardless of how others treat us or situations around us treat us, we will find ourselves automatically being moved towards uh, new horizons, new opportunities. Um, it's just going to move quickly in the month of October. Okay, this could also represent even a physical move or change for some of my cancers. Okay, now the next card is for November. Interesting. We have right underneath the King of Pentacles, we have the Queen of Pentacles. I like that she lines up with him. I feel like, again, we have this establishment of the betterment of money. This is the more nurturing side of things, where this is the more active and assertive side. This is the more passive and nurturing side. So, again, I feel like we're still feeling in control of our situation. I like that this is coming in off of the Chariot, because Chariot energy, even though it can be fast moving, it's always about sort of change and shifting. There is a little bit of we sort of see the castle in the distance, right? We see that where we want to go, but can we actually get there? I think that we explore the month of October and figuring that out, but we do arrive there in a place where it's very loving and nurturing for us. This to me is I feel like this is sort of says that we can put any worries away or at rest by November. To me, the Queen of Pentacles, she's a very grounded, earthy, stable card, right? She is the element of earth. She is a nurturing queen. She's lovely. So we get to experience that energy in the month of November and honor that, right? Like, we need to honor the fact that we've made the choices, we've taken the ride, we've moved ourselves maybe even further than we expected from a situation. But in doing so, we've also placed ourselves in this position of honor. And the interesting thing, what I'm seeing now is this King of Pentacles and this Ace of Chalices, right? This Ace of Cups, this feminine angel that I was saying. We take the authority and the masculine of this King of Pentacles, and we sort of connect it in the following month with this emotional sort of Ace of Cups. We end up going through some experiences the next 2 months. We come out of this as this Queen of Pentacles. She's like sort of the love child of these two cards, is what I'm hearing. I know that sounds weird and strange, but it's sort of like the balancing of this masculine and this sort of, not that necessarily this Ace of Cups is well, it's a cup, so it would be considered a more feminine because it's emotional and water. But to me, it's like the blending of these two. We end up with this Queen of Pentacles. So we've really blended who these two aspects of ourselves are by this month. Does that make sense to you guys? So we are going to get challenged after we experience these two parts of ourselves and want to sort of nurture them and give them credence and station in our life. But as we move forward, we may have to cut away some situations and then physically use the power or make the decisions with decisiveness and clarity and move quickly towards our new goals. But as we move towards them, we are going to be blended in such a way that it's nurturing, loving, and stable, and based in like a mother-like clarity that I think is important, right? And I have to say this, let me just look at this card. I want to show you guys how it looks like she's part of these mountains to me. Like, that wrap on her skirt almost blends in with the mountains. Like, she's strong like the mountains is what I'm feeling. Like, we're stable, we're grounded by November in who we are and what we know ourselves to be, and there's a nice blending there between these two cards that becomes this, okay? The next card is December. In December, wow, guys. The end of the year for you guys is the Ace of Wands. Beautiful. I love that we have the King of Pentacles for you, the Queen of Pentacles here, and then we have the Ace of Cups here, and then the Ace of Wands. Again, we're talking about to me, Wands is more of a masculine natured energy just because it's the element of fire, and also the wand being sort of a more phallic thing, I feel like. But she is very feminine in this card. She's very much empowered. She's strong. There's a spiritual strongness and inspiration here, a connection to spirit that is undeniable. So I feel like we move into the end of the year, or by next December, we will be feeling our oats, so to speak. We will be, uh, how do I want to say this? Like, spiritually fulfilled, feeling connected, feeling grounded in who we are, feeling inspired by ourselves at a very deep spiritual level, understanding our and appreciating our own beauty and our own worth. And these things I feel like are happening for you at a very profound, deep level. And part of that is because of the work that you did back here in the month of March, in going inward and asking the questions that maybe you didn't necessarily know you needed to ask or wanted to ask, but as you ask them and you start to do sort of the pursuit of them, you're going to kind of level up throughout the year, and things will move you to this place. By the year's end, you will be feeling quite lovely, quite connected to yourself. And there's a freedom that she has here. There's a joy that she's experiencing here that is really, to me, it sort of mimics this energy of the sun in some ways. It's like we begin the year sort of celebrating and dancing, and we end the year sort of celebrating and dancing. So keep that in mind as you go through your year. Now, the next three cards that I'm pulling is what I call the Holy Trinity. So everybody always contacts me. They want to know about three major things: money, or I'm sorry, health, love, and finance, right? So that's what I call the Holy Trinity of tarot readings. So I'm going to just pull three cards for those three elements. This card is representational of the overview for the year for these sort of sectors of our life, okay? And again, I'm going to just reiterate, just take what you need and leave the rest. So if any of these cards are not, perfectly in line with your situation, that's fully acceptable. There's plenty of great readers on YouTube, and you can maybe find something that is in line, but please feel free to disregard anything in here that doesn't work for you. And let me see what's going on for my Cancers in the realm of health, love, and finance for 2020. So we have health, love, and finance. So let's start with our health card. Oh, and by the way, I should just caveat this. I am not a doctor, so do not take my advice over any doctor. If you need the help of a medical professional or you're having health issues, please do not listen to my reading over anything a doctor says to you, okay? And also, again, like, I'm just going to reiterate that this reading may be for some of you and not all of you. Some portions of this reading may be for you and some may not. So this is just an overview, a broad overview for a multitude of people that may watch this video. So this is the Knight of Pentacles, or the Knave of Pentacles, I should say. So to me, this is more the younger version of the Knight of Pentacles, right? He's still in the learning phase. Pentacles is the earth, the element of earth, and when I look at this in the essence of your health, there's some things that I feel like you guys are going to be learning about with your health this year. So I would go so far as to say this, and I'm not necessarily predicting anything, but if there are issues throughout the year with your health, with your physical or mental or emotional health, don't be surprised. I feel like that's okay, that these opportunities are here to teach you. And they're here to sort of teach you at a very, I feel like this is, because this is an pentacle, that this is going to be more about physical health issues. Like maybe you might experience some colds, flus, a broken, bone here and there for some of you. I'm not exactly sure, but there might be, throughout this course of this year, you might actually find yourself dealing with some health issues. But what I do want to say is, whatever those health issues may be, they feel like they will probably potentially be physical in nature versus, like, say, mental or emotional, which is good because we know that, the water signs can be very emotional, and we can have our ups and downs with that. But this year, it feels like it might be more on the physical side for the majority of you, and that to take heart in the fact that these opportunities are really opportunities to learn. That these situations, those of you that are dealing with health situations during the year of 2020, that might feel like you're needing to solve them or whatever, approach them with an open mind and an open heart, and allow these things to sort of teach you, right? Allow yourself to be in a place of passive open learning. That's sort of the knave aspect of this card to me, is what I'm feeling, versus trying to force yourself to fix it, right? This is about like maybe opening up a communication with your body and saying to your body, allowing your body to sort of teach you what it needs. Or if it's, say, you're dealing with something that's more emotional or more mental, being open and aware, and so almost approaching it from a place of, okay, so how, like, there's a passivity to this card that I feel like there's a willingness to learn. So don't be closed off to these situations. Don't be in resistance to these situations. Stay open and willing to learn, and ground in that openness and that ability to learn, and allow these situations to sort of educate you throughout the year of 2020, if they are to come up, okay? This card to me feels very beneficial, right? But it just feels like those of you that might have to deal with health issues in 2020, remain open and keep this sort of positive, youthful energy about you, and let the situation inform you. And again, like I said, go see your doctors, take good care of yourself, and follow their advice or their instructions on how to care for yourself, and also, open up that communication within your own self and whatever might be ailing you, or bringing, like, I'm just going to use a common cold as an example. You don't want to be like, ah, fuck, I'm sick again. God damn it, now I got to stay home from work for 3 days and I can't afford that, blah, blah, blah. Don't run that program on yourself. You want to be open with yourself. And this knave says to me, like, he would operate in a way of, oh, I'm not feeling well. This is my body telling me I need to slow down. What is it that you need, body? Right? That's the difference in how you need to approach things in 2020, because these things will teach you. And there will be a communication that will open up, and a learning that takes place for you that will be very, very valuable. Okay? And with all of this, like, sort of pentacle energy happening here with the king and the queen here, we want to learn these things, okay? The next card is the love portion. Love portion. Okay, hello, Knave of Swords. So we have some learning to do in the love department too, my Cancers. To me, this is about where are we at in mentally with the idea of love. I look at this card and I instantly feel like my Cancers feel like they don't necessarily know that it's out there for them. That they don't necessarily agree with it, or that maybe they're in a relationship and it's not really quite the relationship that they thought it was going to be, right? For those of you that are in a relationship in the year 2020 or going into 2020, are you having second thoughts? Are you having sort of perturbed ideas around it? That's what this card feels like to me. This is about learning where our thoughts sort of also sort of create our reality. And so to me, when I look at this card again, I feel like this is about a learning phase for us. These are not bad thoughts. These are not things that are going to harm us, but we need to sort of get clear and start to really move from this position of the knave or the page into, say, maybe a knight or a queen of swords energy in this space. We might spend 2020 looking at these thoughts that we have, how they sort of work in our lives, how they affect our relationships, where they sort of cut us off from the ability of being loved. I do feel like this knave has his sort of back turned on love. We're not completely over love, right? But I do feel like he has his sort of, like, I feel like some of my Cancers that are watching this, y'all are like looking over your shoulder going, I see you, love, I see you coming, but don't come too close. I will cut you, bitch. And so it's like, you guys need to clear away your thoughts and what's not serving you, and open your heart to the idea, and especially open your minds to the idea of being vulnerable again. And that's part of this Ace of Cups up here, that vulnerability that I was seeing that it's going to happen past the mid-year. You guys are going to start to open up, and that's this Ace of Wands too by the year's end. The whole process here is we're learning this year, and we're establishing ourselves, and we're clearing our thoughts and clearing our minds and getting prepared for something very big to come in the next decade. Now, this last card is the Finances card, and we have the Queen of Wands. Interesting. I like this in the financial aspect. It's a nice power player. It's interesting to me that you guys have 3 court cards in your 3 significant areas. That's yet to happen with any of the readings. So this says to me that even though we're learning on the physical, in the health realm, and we're learning in the love realm, we're much more established in the financial realm. We are in a place of nurturing in our finances and nurturing from a very spiritual place. So like the making of our money is going to have to feel good to us. I think that there's going to be a focus on that, and I think that that stems from this time we spend in March asking those deeper questions. I also think that these pentacle energies, we have the 2 of Pentacles here, we have the 6 of Pentacles here, then we have the King and the Queen. This says to me that there's a definite connection in the year of 2020 between your finances and your spirit, because you have the Queen of the Queen of Wands representing as your financial card for the year. So to me, there's a definite spirit money connection growth that's going to be happening for my Cancers. So wherever you guys are feeling inspired, wherever you're feeling turned on, wherever you're feeling like this is right, this is what I want to do, this is what excites me, go with that energy, because this Queen of Wands says to me that there's a definite connection between your money and your spirit in this year. And if we pay attention to that, we use this energy of the sun, we do the hermit work, and we go deep and sort out those answers for ourselves. We start in April to really begin to build that for ourselves, that balance, and then go about nurturing that. Again, we have this Wands energy, and then we're back into the Pentacles energy. We have the 6 of Pentacles here. There's this learning curve that's going to take place, but you are going to learn it as long as you stay connected to your spirit. And by the end, having done that during the year, your spirit ends out at this Ace of Wands. You really end out connected and feeling spiritually fulfilled and connected. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense to you guys. Now, 2 more cards and we're done. I'm sorry this is a long video, but it is for an entire year's forecast for a lot of different Cancers. So this is from the Divine Doors deck, and basically the question that I pose as I shuffle this deck for each sign is, what doors are the Cancers opening or closing in the month, in the year of 2020? Okay, what do we need to be made aware of as far as what doors are we opening? What doors are we closing for ourselves in 2020? Or is there a specific door we need to walk through? Okay. So I'm going to do a little interpretation of what I see on the door. This door to me sort of feels like it's about adornment and respect. That's the first 2 words that I hear. This door, I love that it's this natural wood, and it's like sort of there's a self-appreciation of this door. I don't know why I feel that way, but to me this door is there's an adornment, there's a beauty to this door, there's a natural grace to this door that I think that we want to be in throughout this year. We want to acknowledge ourselves in our natural beauty and honor and embellish ourselves in ways that like sort of add to our experience versus take away or over promote, if that makes sense, right? We don't need to like be flashy or anything other than what we really are, and see our true beauty for what we really are. Okay, that's the message that I get from this picture of the door. Let's look at the message on the back. It says, trust the universe. Intuition has wandered and led you astray. The timing's not yours, but the universe at play. Have faith and breathe. So I think that that sort of makes sense in the sense that there are moments throughout this year that you are going to have to step back. This Hermit is one of them. This or is it the Six of Wands, where I said maybe take this break or take a vacation. That will be another point where you need to trust the universe. Also, the Six of Pentacles, where I said you might need to sort out some financial stuff and really figure out where you want to be. You are going to have to trust the universe in those moments and trust yourself. But that's what this is all building towards, is this trust and coming into this energy of this King of Pentacles, then segueing into that Ace of Cups, then really sticking true to it. Again, we have this sort of, I told you that in this month here, that Five of Wands is that sort of back and forth, maybe getting clear on your thoughts and what situations we need to free ourselves from. We have to trust the universe and remove ourselves with that directness of that Chariot card that we saw. But when we do that, we consciously make that choice, we have the option of becoming that Queen of Pentacles and ending on the Ace of Wands. But we have to trust that slogging through some of these low points in the year are going to be for our betterment. We have to trust that the Knave of Swords in our love section and the Knave of Pentacles are these learning lessons. If we face health issues or frustrations in love, that they're there to teach us, right? That they're there to give us sort of knowledge and a strengthening of our abilities, right? But we have to not get frustrated with ourselves or the situations. We have to remain teachable and open to them. We're going to be more open to health than to love, I have a feeling now, as I'm looking at these cards. But we're not completely closed off. And our financial situation, to me, with that Queen of Wands, speaks to the fact that there is some empowerment in that aspect of our year this year. Now, this last card is what I call, it's from a deck called Whispering Woods. And I use this card just as sort of like what I use in the daily forecast is the grounding stone. This is sort of the theme for your year, right? Something that you might want to think about or focus on moving throughout 2020. Bring yourself back to this. Aha! It lines up perfectly with the trust of the universe. This says, let go. Enjoy the pulsing light of the firefly, but don't hold on too tight. When I think of this, when it says enjoy the pulsing light of the firefly, it immediately starts me back to this sun card that we have in January. There's this joy and this light that not only is emanating towards us, that from accepting that light, we get to emanate it back out into the world. We don't want to hold on to it too strongly. We don't want to get upset when maybe it sort of departs in mid-February to end of February. We take that time to then retreat back into the Hermit and go deeper with ourselves and answer those questions within ourselves. The Hermit is all about finding that light again, but within us, okay? From a place deep within us. And that sort of goes along with this let go and trust the universe. It can't be any more clearer. This could be a bang-up learning year for the Cancers, right? This could be a year where you guys really come into your own. These Ace of Cups, this Queen of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, these energies here say to me that there is a mastery that could take place here depending on how much you choose to let it. And or how much you choose to pursue it, right? And I see that reflected in the Sun card, in the Hermit card, and in the Chariot card. It's like, if you're going to get in the Chariot, how fast are you going to let it take you there? How direct is the ride going to be? Are you going to let the walls fucking fall off that Chariot and just go for it? I think you should. I think that's what these cards are saying. Trust yourself. Trust your knowing. And even during points of doubt, because we see that doubt in that Five of Swords, in that Six of Pentacles, when we see those doubtful moments throughout the year, know that you'll work your way through it. Know that the guidance is there. We also see that doubt in the Knave cards, right? In our love and our health spots. So we might have a little bit of second guessing in our love situations, and we might have a little bit of second guessing in our health situations. Don't let that deter you. Keep trusting yourself and the universe. Let go and let that light guide you. You are going to be, if you do that, that Ace of Wands at the end of the year is really a position of beauty and power coming in, especially off of that Queen of Pentacles. It's really a lovely way to end out the year. So to me, this looks like this could be a very transformative year going into the next decade. Use it to your advantage, guys, and enjoy it. Now, if anybody's interested in having a personal reading with me, once this video uploads, all that information on how to contact me in my link tree is available. It will be available in the link in the video description. You can contact me at the Facebook business page. I can do a further, more in-depth, specific reading for you if you're interested in that. Those are available to you. Feel free to reach out. Again, if you want to support the channel, please give me a subscribe. I would appreciate it. And give me a like or a follow at the Facebook business page. Follow me on Instagram at Engelgeist333. And Cancers, this is your 2020 yearly predictive for all my Cancers. I hope you guys have a great, great year. I will see you guys next month for your January Tarotscopes. And I'm on every morning for the daily forecast if you want to tune in and join in on that. Thank you and have a great day, you guys. Bye-bye.